for fast, cheap, and reliable Madden 23 coins. Make sure you guys go check out my sponsor, AOEAH.com. Use code VENM at checkout for 3% off your order.
Yo, what's good? It's VENM Fire here, back on the video, and today we're going to be hopping into another kind of run/pass scheme. You guys showed a lot of love on the last one that I did, which was the single back deuce close formation. I posted it probably about a week ago. You guys can definitely go check that out if you have not. Really good runs and really good passes to go with it. I think that is a good strategy to use in Madden 23. Not just throwing the ball 35 times, not just, running it every single play, but having a good balance, I feel like has always been a good way to run your offense in Madden, and it's no different this year. This has been one of my favorite formations since about Madden 18. I ran this formation a ton in the beta. I loved it, and it's a really good formation to run the ball and pass the ball out of. It's going to be the gun trips tight end offset. I think it's a little bit better to run the ball than regular trips tight end. The passes might not be as good per se, but it still is going to be a very good formation. It's off meta for those that like that, and overall it's just a good playbook. Now, we're going to be in the Houston Texans offensive playbook. This is going to be in a couple of other playbooks, including Broncos, Colts, Cowboys, Eagles, Falcons, Packers, and Titans. I believe the Titans and the Texans, are the best ones. The Broncos is a good one as well, but this Texans one's going to have every single play that you need. Going over the ones that I like, RPO alert bubble in the middle there. You have level sail, PA crossers. All three of those plays are going to be in our audibles. You're going to have read option, which is very good if you have a mobile quarterback, especially in the goal line situations. Then you're going to have a tight end in. I love that play right there. X under, very good passing play with a corner route. You're going to have a speed option, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but you can definitely get creative with that. And then you have plays like the RPO trap alert bubble as well as verticals. So we're going to start out in the trap alert bubble. And yeah, overall, let's jump straight into it. All right, so coming out onto the field, we're going to start with this RPO trap alert bubble. Again, here's a look at my audibles. I don't know if I went over them completely, but level sail, PA crossers, X under, and RPO alert bubble. Generally, I will come out in this trap just to give me another run play, but if I do want to run a play like tight end in, we can of course come out in that, and we still have an option to audible to the run, depending on the formation that we are given. Now, this is going to be, again, similar to a trips tight end, but it is offset, so the runs should be a little bit better. One of the best runs this year, if you guys do not know, it's going to be this 0-1 trap kind of a concept, and it's no different in this formation. It's very good in tight offset tight end, and it's very good in this as well. So, overall, with the worst stick in the world, you see we almost pick up an instant first down. It really is just a super good formation to run. Again, we'll set it up. And even with the slowest guard on planet Earth, we're picking up positive yardage. Overall, it is a good run. And then you combine the fact that you do have this option to throw the ball. Any single time you can throw this ball, and it would really work. Every time. I'm not sure why this guard is so slow. I might even have to sub him out just so that we can actually get the pulling guard to work. But you can cut it back here, as you see. It's not necessarily going to, break free for a touchdown by any means, but it is going to be just solid, consistent yardage. And it has probably the biggest play potential there. You see the guard actually getting through, and I'm assuming that most people will have good enough guards to where they're actually able to pull. It's really good against formations like this nickel 3-3 wide and nickel 3-3 as well. It's one of the best plays you can run against a 3-3 defense, which is definitely one of those meta things right now that you guys face. Going to your other option is going to be the bubble to Kenny Golladay, and you see you just have a lot of space. Now, if it's man coverage, that space will kind of be taken away, but even against man coverage, you will see the guy that's manned up on him. Let's say it's him. Sometimes he will still play the run, so you still have the option to throw it. Now, you will need a little bit of help from your blockers, as you would expect. So if one of those blockers is not able to hold up, the play definitely will fall apart, but you definitely just read it. If you're, if the pass is open, I'll usually just take the pass to be safe, because the run, you never know if someone can block shed or whatever might happen. But you see we just have a lot of space to run, 10-15 yards on average, I would say, and it's just really good. Another thing that I've done in the past is if I know I want to run the ball, I can actually confuse him going with this little pass option. What you can do is kind of snap throw this hitch as well as a streak. Now, you want a receiver that's able to hold onto the ball, and again, with the faster release, it's a better concept, but this is something you can actually do. You see he's a hitch, so you have to snap throw it to where he's running upfield, and it's like a streak, like that. And again, a lot of times he can break free, break tackles, get a big body wide receiver in that position. And that is a concept that I like out of the RPO alert bubble as well. So let's go into the RPO alert bubble now. It's going to be kind of a similar concept. Really, your difference is that it's just an inside zone instead of a trap. I think the inside zone is just a little bit worse personally, but it still is, not terrible by any stretch of the imagination. You just have an extra guy that isn't really picked up in this situation. So when you're running the RPO alert bubble, the linebacker's not going to get picked up because they have 5 people on the line, really. And overall, one of your players on the right, he doesn't really do anything because there's not really a chance to do anything. You can try different things like sliding to the left and IDing this guy, but again, it doesn't really make a difference. It's really always going to be a one-on-one. So I would definitely prefer going to this inside zone in a, heavy situation, like a 4th and 1, 4th and inches. We have to pick up the first down. I'm going to this. I think it gives me the best chance. 0-1 trap. There is always a chance you get hit in the backfield, but with this, it gives you the best chance in my opinion. And then again, you can also throw the bubble. The bubble, I think, it might be a little bit better out of this inside zone. You can just throw it a little bit quicker, which allows you to have time to get upfield before your blockers get shedded, whereas in the trap, you're kind of waiting a little bit. But you see, even with a slow wide receiver like Galladay, not good at all, he is able to, pick up 10 yards every single time. Now, if you read the whole right, you can also get, sticky with it. I like to juke through this year a lot out of this inside zone when I'm running it. It's one of my favorite concepts, just like juke through. Having juke box certainly helps with Dalvin Cook. This is a really good offense to run, I've learned. And then again, you can get that juke box ability on anybody, I think, for like 1 AP. So don't prematurely juke, but it's a good way to cut back without, the chance of really being shedded as quickly. So, overall, it's a really good run. Once again, you can go with the same concept of going with the hitch. Now, if you do the hitch, you're not going to want to really throw the bubble. It can still work. And there you see again, there was the zone right above him. He kind of plays the run still, so you're able to pick up positive yardage still, but it wouldn't be my preference. And you can do the same thing with Sterling Shepard as well. Run him as a streak. And again, you can snap throw it. It's just a really good run, especially if he's in zone coverage, or a really good way to run this play if he's in zone coverage. If he's in man, it's not as good of a concept because you can't snap throw a streak against man coverage. You'll get picked almost every single time unless somehow you're able to get the inside leverage and, pass lead low or something like that. But overall, let's go into some of these passing plays that I like. We're going to start out in the level sail. My favorite setup for this is just a streak B and then either like drag X. I like to have the drag in the deeper in route. I don't really like stacking in routes personally, but I'll just run it like this. And it's a good quick snap concept, just streak. And you can just really read the field. I like throwing these drags underneath heavy against zone this year. And overall, you're just catching them off guard. You don't want to create all these complicated passing setups where you're motioning every single play and all that. You want to keep things simple. You're not looking to, throw 30-yard bombs every single play out of this scheme. You're looking to control the clock, kind of play smart. You're looking for a 15 for 15 for, 150 kind of a, game. You're not particularly looking for 300 yards passing. You're looking to play smart, and this is a good way to do that. So again, you can read the field. Depending on what defense they're in, you'll either have the in route or the drag 99 out of 100 times. So you're able to just make that read. If it's cover 3, what you can also do is kind of just snap throw this pass to Galladay in there. This is cover 2, and it was still open, so you can definitely take advantage of that concept on a pretty consistent basis. He also just acts as a nice clear out. So if you have time, you can also, maybe even fit him down the middle if the situation is right and if he has enough speed and if you have enough throw power, which we don't have any of right now, and he still was kind of open. So, overall, just a nice concept. With this corner out, you can definitely fit it over the top in situations. It's a lot of times a tight throw, so you want to have some of the good factors like a big body tight end that can make a catch in traffic if you need him to, and you want a quicker release, which Daniel Jones doesn't particularly have. I like to leave Saquon on this little flat route. I like it this year because you're able to lead him upfield pretty easily, and he can definitely make, pick up a lot of yards for you. So I do like him on that table route. If you would prefer, what you can go ahead and do maybe is just put him on like a little out route. And maybe this, opens up our corner out a little bit more. I'm not sure, but it also opens up Saquon. So that could open up both routes a little bit more, but you might not be able to pass him up the field anymore. But overall, for level sale, I don't exactly have, too many setups. I'll be honest, but you can, keep things simple. What you can do is go with maybe Y on a flat, just keep B on a street, go with like a backside slant, something like this, just throw them off if you would like. And, it's not a terrible concept. Maybe ideally you can put B on a crosser if you have it or something, but just to show you a different setup, that's something that you could go to. Now, moving on, we got X under. I like this play a lot for a couple of reasons. I like Galladay's route kind of in the middle of the field there. You have a deeper corner route than level sail, I think. Or actually, no, they're the same. So, I feel like he's just a little bit deeper for some reason. I think they're the same. Then you have this deeper corner out with Robinson that I love. And there we go. So I'll just show the corner out stock, and with it, you can pass it up very easily. Now, there is kind of a problem against cover 2. I might actually audible to cover 3. With cover 2, it's a little bit confusing because when this stupid outside receiver gets bumped, you're in a lot of trouble. So what you kind of want to do is actually motion this guy over a step and snap the ball there. It's going to take a long time for it to develop. You need a lot of time, but that will allow you to throw it over the top a little bit more consistently. Now you see it's not necessarily super viable because you have all that time. So just to keep things simple, what you can do is maybe even leave X on his little in route and just run things similar. You can block this guy, you can throw RB on a little option and just run this play like this so that he's not really getting bumped on the field. You can throw it over the top easier. So that's probably the better way to run it. When you have that streak, what that streak does is he's getting bumped up the field, and it's allowing the corner and the cloud flat to actually play the route when normally he wouldn't. You see when Sterling Shepard just runs a normal route, he stays out of the corner's way. It's an easy concept, and then that weird stuff is happening. So, yeah, that's a nice corner out to throw. Tight window, so you want to have a nice receiver who can make catches on the sideline. Pass lead that outside to the sideline, of course, and, basic stuff. Now, you have some other routes that you can throw. You have this little under route, which you can fit in situationally. Again, I don't think people are just leaving 3 yellows on the field, so one of those would be the user. They might chase something else. You can also drag him, which is a concept that I mentioned earlier. As far as over here, you have the same kind of high-low read you can go to between the corner out and this out route if you'd like. And again, I think you can also leave Saquon on the table route if you would prefer that as well. So kind of the same situation there. I would just maybe drag X. And then again, you have Galladay in the middle of the field here. Galladay, he gets over the top. He can definitely get in this window. Oh my God, that was a hospital pass if I've ever seen one. But again, pretend that there's not like a mid read here, and that's a pass that you can certainly throw. Against cover 3, it gets open as well. But the last kind of high-low concept is the running back. We show that you can throw him, and then you can throw this tight end, which we had a bad throw there, but you see that he's clearly able to get over the top of the zone. So, good concept. Let's move into our next play, PA crossers. This play's not as good this year, but I do think it is still worth throwing in the audibles because the crosser can definitely do some damage for you. Honestly, what I like to do really is just keep things simple. I will do basic things like a backside drag with Shepard, and then maybe even just Saquon a little out route block our tight end. Basic things like this I think are good. You have just a couple of options. And honestly, for this play, I just like to use the deeper routes to set up the underneath routes. So what I'm doing is I'm using the deeper crossers and posts to open up Sterling Shepard on his drag, and I'm using that to open up Saquon Barkley on this little out route if I am able to. Again, you see the crossers not really too open until the very end, so it's another situation where you would have to make a possession catch on the sidelines. Keep that in mind. Now, it's definitely going to need a clear out if you are trying to open up the crosser, I would say. So you can go with something like this where you just have 2 drags over there. I wouldn't mind that. And then again, you can throw it over the top. Galladay is able to make that possession catch on the sideline, so you will need a little bit of time to complete it. So if he has really good pass rushers, ideally you're not necessarily looking for all that time to throw it to the crosser. But again, with Saquon, you can go with these 2 drags, really just decide which one's open. Saquon was the worst read right there. You would have taken the other drag, but you just decide between one. If it's man coverage, both of those routes should get open. Then you could also, if it's man coverage, go with some cool concepts. We already showed that you can motion Y in. So what you can do is actually go with something like this. Motion him in and then go with like a zig route, and that would fry man coverage. Now, that receiver's not very good, and it's zone coverage, so the situation's not the same, but you could understand how that would be man coverage, I'm guessing. Now, overall, not much else to this play that I particularly like. You can go with some other cool things. again, zone out of it like this wheel route, and then kind of throw Galladay as like a middle of the field passing and not so much the sideline. So maybe we would go with like an in route, and then, or actually let's go with X on a drag, Y on a flat in this situation. And then you could like streak Seals Jones. I would probably just block him here to clear up some space, but you could go with a setup like this, and it could be money. You see Saquon Barkley's wide open. This is cover 2. He would be open against cover 3 as well. And you'll see more of that kind of wheel route thing. But again, with the wheel routes, I should have showed more of this. You can also flat A, but with this wheel route, you can kind of just like snap throw it. It's really terrible against cover 2, but against cover 3 and man coverage, you can snap throw that wheel route all day and it's always open. But anyways, let's hop into our last play, which is going to be the tight end in, which is a play that is going to be with some similar concepts that we just showed. There's some other runs as well in this playbook, and those are kind of including the that counter play, which can be nice. Now, the setup's a little bit interesting. What you could do out of it is honestly just run it stock if you really wanted to. It's not a terrible play to run stock quick snap. You have your drag, you have your wheel route. You just have a lot of stuff that you can use. Now, I wouldn't really run it stock. I like to open up the wheel route against zone by using at least one flat. Now, you really don't have too many options, so I would probably just go like Y on a drag here. And again, if you want to space the field, what you can do is one of my favorite red zone concepts is this, where you curl B, hitch Y, smoke screen X, and then you go ahead and flat A. So you're opening up the wheel route over on the right side with a nice kind of high-low concept. And this is really good in the red zone, but it's honestly better here where you have more space to work with because you have these curls. One of these routes is going to be open. You just have to decide. In this case, holy crap, that was a terrible read. I don't know what that curl flat was doing, why it's like sitting so far inside, but that was a crazy bait and that was a terrible read. I think the read there was going to be curl, so just throw this curl, complete it. And it depends play to play. Certain plays will have 2 open. On this play, you see it's really defended well by the stock cover 3 unexpectedly. So it does seem to get open more in the red zone, but you can fit Saquon Barkley in there. Try and throw it a little bit better than that. I do notice that the wheel routes work a little bit better when you're not using the tight end flat, which is kind of what I was trying to say earlier. So you can go with like a drag. Let's reset that. Flat B, drag X. Something like this would not be terrible. Again, it's just like a basic, simple play. And you see how Galladay is just wide open there. So you can kind of snap throw Galladay as well. But overall, this play is definitely probably the worst one that I've shown. But it can be a good quick snap play. You just want to mix in. But overall, it's going to do a video. If you guys enjoyed, drop a big thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel down below for more of these videos. And peace. I'm out of here.